It's anticlimactic. Hello, Nick. Good afternoon, where you're at in the world.
Afternoon, Amy. How are you doing?
I am terrific. We have a lot to talk about in a short amount of time. And for those of you who are just out there listening for the first time, we talk about current events while drinking to make it more fun. So grab your cocktail, listen in. And this week we are going to be covering Cuba, Sudan, Afghanistan, Pakistan war, as well as a quick Iran update. And that should bring us about to that 15-minute point. Please like, please subscribe, please follow the Book Horror Universe. And Nick, we are going to jump right into Cuba because we have some updates.
Yeah, Cuba. So the big news out of Cuba is that the United States has apparently gone over plans, developed plans for a airborne assault invasion of the island. Presumably, it'll just be to capture the key government centers in Havana, maybe some military sites around the island. They're certainly not going to occupy and invade the entire island overnight. But the fact that we're even talking about this when there's a humanitarian crisis going on, when the hospitals don't have power to keep patients alive, there isn't gasoline to be able to move food from one place to another. So there's serious food insecurity on the island. It's a sign of misplaced priorities, in my opinion. Because I've said it before, they are not.
The context of it is interesting. Last time we did a airborne operation like this, was that Honduras? Or Grenada?
So if you're talking about Just Cause, that was Panama in 1989. Is that?
But they didn't do airborne with that one, did they?
Oh, Haiti, or maybe Haiti. With which one was? Haiti was in the late 80s, early 90s, wasn't it?
Haiti was in the 90s, but we didn't go airborne. I want to say it was Honduras even before that time. But definitely something that we'll have to look up and bring back up is when's the last time we did an airborne operation like this? Because it's not like there's a concern for, the traditional reasons why airborne operations happened.
Yeah.
I know there's been many reviews on why we continue to have airborne as the world has changed. So maybe this is just an opportunity to show, look, you can still drop parachutists out of airplanes.
During the Iraq invasion in 2003, we did do an airdrop into northern Iraq, Operation Northern Delay. The 173rd Brigade dropped in.
But Nick, we're old. That's like a couple decades ago. So
touche.
So yes, you are correct. Old people remember these things, but really just want to highlight in Cuba here, and that my cat wants to be part of the show today too, is Cuba. My cat is protesting. Cuba is suffering some serious humanitarian health crisis issues out there, and everybody should be concerned, especially my cat. So on that, we are going to move over to Sudan. So we'll zoom out. We will pop over here to Africa. My thanks to Google Maps. And once again, please like, please subscribe, and let's talk about what's going on in Sudan.
Yeah, so Sudan is in the midst of a brutal civil war, and because it's not big on the Western radar, I want to make sure we highlight it for our community here. About 3 years ago, a little more than 3 years ago, a paramilitary group called the Rapid Response Force decided that they didn't like the government forces anymore and that they could do it better. So they launched a military operation to try to overthrow the Sudanese government and supplant them. And since then, I don't know what the casualty figures are, but it's pretty high. There has been serious ethnic cleansing going on in Darfur. And there are probably more than 10 million displaced persons, both internally and then refugees that have left Sudan as a cause of this fighting. Right now, the Rapid Response Force controls about the southwestern quarter, so about a quarter of the Sudan in the southwest, and they're getting most of their supplies from the UAE. So this is one of the theaters in which the UAE is trying to project global power so that they can expand their sphere of influence. And it's super tragic for the people of Sudan who don't want any part of this, that just want to, like everyone else in the world, wants to go about their lives and be able to take care of their families. But some individuals that want political power for themselves have decided that they're going to make other people's lives miserable until they can get it.
Yeah, and just a reminder for our listeners, once again, these straight lines here, all the straight lines, these are the lines that were created by Europeans. These are not natural lines and divides, which you can see in other areas which follow the natural geography. So when you have these straight lines, these are traditional people who are split, who really kind of exacerbate and facilitate these kind of wars.
Yeah, and then particularly in the Darfur, where you have a different. I hate to use the word term ethnic group, but it's a different cultural group. They are more Christian than Muslim, and the Rapid Response Force is definitely pushing their culture and religion on the people of Darfur, and it's just really really bad stuff going on there. So yeah, the Sudan is in a really bad way, but because it's not important to the West, maybe because they don't have oil. It's certainly not getting the level of attention that the Iran war is getting, or the war in Ukraine. Those sorts of conflicts. I guess my cat heard yours, wants to join as well.
Hey, it's cat joined the cocktails day. Let's pop over to Pakistan and Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Also areas that we only care about them when we care about them.
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned the European colonialization and then border drawing. This is a direct result of that. So Britain controlled the Indian subcontinent until the early 20th century. I think right after World War II is when they partitioned India and Pakistan. And so the borders there are very artificial as well. In doing so, for example, they split the Punjab in half and broke Sikh power in northern India. Pakistan was actually once encompassed both what you see now as Pakistan and over on the east side of India, Bangladesh. India engineered a civil war between what is today Bangladesh and Pakistan, and then intervened in that to try to break Pakistan apart. But that's not what we're really important with today. This is a super complicated area of the world, and the fighting continues. So Pakistan has had an issue with internal terrorism for a very long time. And some shoots of the Taliban, and you'll hear the Taliban in Afghanistan, there are shoots of Pakistani Taliban that following our withdrawal from Afghanistan decided that they saw the success in Afghanistan and they want to try to replicate it in Pakistan. So they started launching a lot more terrorist missions in Pakistan itself to try to destabilize the Pakistani government. Pakistan took umbrage. And started. They blamed the Taliban government in Kabul for the support for the Pakistani Taliban and for those raids. So they launched attacks into Afghanistan, and they declared full-out war back in February. Since then, there have been cross-border raids going both ways. A lot of artillery strikes, airstrikes. High casualty figures. A lot of displaced people, particularly on the border. And since we withdrew from Afghanistan, the humanitarian situation there has deteriorated significantly. Though most of the world doesn't recognize the Taliban government, so we don't send aid there, and they have to get by whatever they can produce domestically. So you've got a lot of, again, Afghans that are just looking to get by, that are getting shelled and got caught in the middle of the Taliban-Pakistani conflict.
Yeah, and on both sides, Pakistan and Afghanistan, destabilized. One thing I want to highlight that we didn't talk about is the status of Pakistan as a nuclear player.
Yeah. Forgive me, the year escapes me, but they did detonate a nuclear weapon to declare their capability, and then almost immediately thereafter, India did the exact same thing. India and Pakistan, like I mentioned, the one war, they fought 3 or 4 wars against one another. And because they are both now nuclear armed countries, anytime that they look like they're going to start to come to blows, the West gets really, really nervous because it could devolve into a nuclear exchange along that border, along the Indian-Pakistan border. And that would be absolutely catastrophic, mostly for the people that live there, but then globally, there would be fallout, political and environmental and economic, for all the way around the world.
Absolutely. So just kind of wanted to highlight that. A lot of times we're going to jump over to Iran next, but when people talk about this area, Iran, the focus when they don't even have nuclear weapons versus the fact that Pakistan is a nuclear power and has clearly demonstrated this ability. This is something that we need to be aware of. And so you've got Afghanistan and Pakistan fighting right next to their neighbor, Iran. And let's kind of go into that from a POV of the voting powers. I mean, war powers.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So,
right here. Say hello, buddy.
Yeah. Mine's trying to get up in my lap, and I'm stiff arming him.
It is that day.
Yeah. So for the first thing I want to mention is we did have more service members killed yesterday. At least two, maybe three. They're not sure about the third one because of Iranian fire into Jordan. Absolutely
Let's take a
tragic.
moment to the families for that,
Yeah.
and just really recognize, no matter your political views or anything else, whether it's the people in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Cuba, the USA, the senseless, just loss of lives. And as an American veteran, and you as an American veteran, I know that these deaths of our U.S. service members definitely just really hit home.
Yeah, and I well, we certainly do highlight the American casualties because we're American. There are a lot of Iranians dying in this, and I don't know how many people in the other Gulf countries, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and UAE have been killed as a result of these strikes. Not all of them are service members on any of these sides, so it's a huge humanitarian tragedy for all involved.
Absolutely. So yeah, you were going to go into more detail though on the War Powers Act.
So the War Powers. So this goes back to both chambers of Congress had passed a resolution to stop the campaign against Iran, barring future congressional action. It was symbolic. It was not binding by any means. But the president has decided to ignore it and continue fighting. There is precedent here. The War Powers Act was passed in the 70s. I don't remember the specific year, but is in response to what has become a series of conflicts that the United States has been drawn into without Congress actually formally declaring war. Most notably, Korea and Vietnam. Subsequently, we got 2 rounds against Iraq, and then the war in Afghanistan. All fought without any declaration of war. But this precedent actually goes back to the 19th century. President Polk, when we fought a war with Mexico, when he was annexing, there's a big, long backstory to this, but we were in the process of annexing Texas to the United States. Federal troops were moved into disputed territory, which led to a border clash. And that kind of forced Congress's hand by President Polk positioning forces where he was pretty sure they were going to get attacked. The Congress, they did declare war, but they didn't really have a choice because fighting was already going on. And then subsequent to that, with each of these conflicts, while Congress hasn't declared war, they felt compelled to continue supporting the wars monetarily and material, because once forces are committed, if you take away those resources, then a lot more people can die. So that leaves Congress kind of holding the bag, even though they're explicitly directed to declare war. We've got several presidents now, again, dating back to the 19th century, that have chosen to get around that to force the United States into a war and then drag Congress along with them. And I've actually already heard chatter that there's a good possibility that the government will shut down with this next fiscal year again, because that seems to be the only way that Congress might be able to influence the situation, because it is through the purse strings. They can't legislate it, and I might be mistaken here, but I think there's actually been a Supreme Court case on this about the War Powers Act, and the Supreme Court. Forgive me if I'm mistaken. So this is like a novice level input, but I think the Supreme Court basically said that whoever was suing didn't have standing to do so. So basically washing their hands of it and saying, hey, Congress, President, you figure it out because we're not going to take sides. And if that is the case, if I'm not misreading that, that means that Congress's only method to resolve this is to cut out funding.
Right. And lots to go into there that we're not going to be able to get in today. I think we've hit a lot of key areas around the world. For those of you tuning in, today we focused on Cuba, then to Sudan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, a lot of Irans, right? A lot of stands and all the names that rhyme here. Thank you for listening. We appreciate your feedback, appreciate your input. I'll be doing some short articles on these as well, and then probably a longer Substack on the War Powers piece, and maybe doing some consultation with Nick and making sure I'm capturing that accurately, because there are so many nuances to it. Definitely want to capture also as well this piece on the Pakistan situation, being a nuclear power, and this not being highlighted enough that a nuclear nation, a nuclear armed nation, is involved in a fairly significant conflict, with its neighbor. So
Yeah.
want everyone to kind of be aware of that. And Nick, anything you want to add as we are at our deadline?
Well, so the World Cup final is getting ready to kick off. So if you follow this World Cup at all, enjoy the game.
I will tell you, I'm following Team Argentina, and that is who I'm cheering for.
Messi is an amazing player, isn't he?
I will tell you, I picked it because of the colors. I really like that kind of light blue and white, and I was like, it's pretty. Like, we'll go with that flag. I was in a little pool, and I was like, okay, I'm picking it based on flags. And but when it got down to the end, I could, like any other odds, two of my 4 teams made it based off flag picks.
Well, and you mentioning Argentina, the little row they brought up after the England game with the Falkland Islands, that we could have had that as a topic too.
There you go.
So much to talk about.
Thanks a lot, everyone, and we will see you next week at our normal time.
Yes, ma'am.